Sorry, the time is 8:16.
Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome each and every one of us to the platform tonight. We hope that um, this session will have a positive impact on your career, will have a positive impact on your employment life. Once again, welcome to 45 minutes with my HR. Our speaker is ready, moderator is ready, all our team member is ready. Briefly, I'll be taking the opening remark where I'll be sharing with us the essence of 45 minutes with my HR. Please, 45 minutes with my HR is an idea and a platform where we do usually have question and answer, then discussing on many things that covers employee life engagement. Many a times, people who are working in organizations don't know their right. Sometimes they want to change job. Sometimes they have one concern or the other regarding their employment. So it's an avenue where we set up every 2 weeks to address employees' needs and questions. And we do invite different guest speakers to come and handle different topics. Tonight's section will be with the boss, Mr. Yemi Ajayi will be talking on HR and my entitlement, what employees should know about their pension, the payee, the NHF, and the rest. Tonight, I want to welcome you once again to this platform. Thank you for joining us, and we hope at the end of this section, you have a special take home, something that will really have a positive influence on your employee life. Thank you so much for joining us. Get ready for a session that will affect your life and your career going forward. Thank you so much. Our moderator for today, please. Happiness, please. Is she the happiness, please? Wow, I think our moderator, whether she's having network issue or not. So I'll be taking the speakers.
Okay, good evening. Good evening. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so I was actually having issues trying to unmute myself. Thank you so much, Mr. Ebenezer. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. I mean, it's always exciting to be here. So I can't wait to catch new insights tonight. Once again, I'm your moderator for tonight, and my name is Happiness Odi. And let me quickly thank you again for making our time to be here. I can assure you that it's going to be knowledge-filled. So right about now, I'm going to be ushering in our guest speaker for tonight by running through his profile. Let's sit back and relax. Mr. Adeyemi Ajayi is a high-performing risk manager, HR expert, facilitator, strategist, one of the top 150 global HR influencer, top 8 African thought leader in HR, and people analytics expert. He's currently the regional director, Africa at Talent Expertise International Contracts. And prior to this time, he was a partner at Exitum Consulting Limited for almost a decade, where he conducted trainings, management consulting with specialties in human resources, risk management, business process management, financial analysis, entrepreneurial skills development, and market feasibilities. He has also worked in the capacity of Director, Strategy Advocacy and Stakeholder Relations at Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria, CIPM, where also acted as Director, Professional Standard and Development. In the year 2020, he worked as a technical assistant to Commissioner for Establishment in Lagos State Ministry of Establishment Training and Pensions Contracts. In addition, he worked as Group Head, Risk Management, Compliance, and Internal Audit at Kedari Capital, as well as Head Risk Management Department at ARMS Pension Managers Limited, designing and implementing the risk management framework, as well as implementing appropriate risk management processes and methodologies. Adeyemi Ajayi had his bachelor's degree in animal science from the prestigious Obafemi Awolowo University, after which he proceeded to acquiring licenses and professional certifications such as ISO 31000, AITAD from Nigerian Institute of Training and Development, MICA from Institute of Credit Administration, ACIPM from Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria, PIORAL from the Institute of Operational Risk. Make welcome our prestigious guest speaker for tonight, Mr. Adeyemi Ajayi. So you're welcome, sir. So you feel free to drop your welcome notes or your upload emoji in the chat box. And also, while he's facilitating, you can drop your messages in the chat box as to be attended to. Sir, you have the floor now. You're welcome, sir.
Good evening, and thank you very much. I don't know if you can see my face. I'm more like in a relaxing mood, so I believe everyone is at home about this time. Thank you, everyone, and thank you for having me. Please don't mind my voice. I'm struggling with flu, and I know I will overcome it. So I would like to share my screen. Can you unshare? I want to make it very fast because of time. First of all, let me state that this program, the time is quite very short, very, very short. So we'll be talking just about pension today. I have made a promise to the organizers of this program that we need to take every other issues subsequently. We'll be looking at about tax later, ITF, we'll be looking at NHF, NSITF. We'll also be talking about the Labor Act, then a little of the contributions to Labor Act 2020. I would also like to mention to us. Then there is Trade Act. I would also like to make references to some case law to support some claims and make you to know your right as an employee of an organization. First, I always let people know that being an employee in an organization gives you legal rights to so many things. But again, many are not aware of this. So please drop the question for me in the chat room. I would be very fast. Some of the things I'm going to explain, maybe you're aware of them already. So I want to tell you what you need to know about your pensions tonight. First, there was the Pension Reform Act 2004, which was issued in order to counter the Social Security Fund then. Then it's made everyone to sign up to the pensions to manage pensions for you by pension fund administrator. Again, in 2014, June precisely 2014, President Goodluck Jonathan signed the amended act of Pension Reform Act 2014 that contains some other things. I don't want to tell us the differences, but again, I want to tell you that within the past 10 years, there's been 2 versions of the document. So we'll be relying on the latest version, which is the 2014. I willed time myself so that I can give enough room for people to ask questions. Again, I want to ask the organizers of this program that it's better we create a platform where people can drop their questions and we can respond to them. It's very important we do that so that people who are not able to listen to this, they'll be able to look into this. Now, what do you want to know, or what should you know about the Pension Reform Act 2014? The first thing is you have the right to choose your pension fund administrator. No organization, no HR, no anybody, nobody should force you to uh, open pension fund account, that is retirement savings account, we call it RSA, with any pension funds that is not of your choice. So you have the choice to determine your pension fund administrator. That is your right. If anyone, any organization asks you otherwise, it's in violation of this Pension Act, and there is huge fine for it. I think it's to the tune of 500,000, and whoever coerced you into that has some other charges to face. However, if you were working in an organization and you don't have retirement savings account, what the law says is that if you don't open the account within 6 months, your employer can invite a pension fund administrator and demand that you open an account with that pension fund administrator so that they can immediately remit your retirement savings deducted from your account into that RSA account. So get it clear. You have the right to make your choice, and when you fail to exercise that right within 6 months, the employer has the right, has the duty to call a pension fund administrator and mandate you to open with that pension fund administrator. Again, you have the right to change your pension fund administrator once in a year. So you can move from Stanbic IBTC to Crusader Sterling Pensions, but that must happen just once in a year. And this is the process. Excuse me. You will complete an application form, transfer form, with the new pension fund manager, and a copy will go to your current pension fund manager, and they will communicate to PENCOM. And upon moving your account from PFA-A to PFA-B, you will be notified. The moment you are notified, you also write your employer officially. Otherwise, your employer will remit to the old account, and that may cause issues for you. It is also your right to do voluntary contribution to your retirement savings. Now, if you do that voluntary contribution, it relieves you of tax. It's tax deductible. So it relieves you of tax, which is very, very important. Now, if we are in a closed pension fund, we have for Ajib, we have for Total, we have for Nestle. There are 6 closed pension funds in Nigeria. If you belong to any of these 6, you have the right. You have the right as an individual to tell your closed pension fund that you don't trust them, that you want to take your money to a pension fund manager outside the closed pension fund. Nobody will stop you. You have that right. So it's good you are aware of that. You have that sole right. So you can choose, and you can find that in section 59, subsection E of the Act, Pension Reform Act 2014. Now, if you check section 1, subsection 2 of this Act, pension covers all employees in employment in an organization where they are more than 5, meaning 5 and above 5 rather, where they are more than 5. it is compulsory to have pensions deducted from salaries and remitted accordingly. If you are less than 5, you are not mandated to do so. That is what the law says. But I want to ask us some questions. Can we deduct pension for outsourced staff? Can we deduct pension for expatriates? Now, this is it. If you have a staff that is on contract, that staff is not on full-time employee with you. Now, that staff belongs to another organization. It is the responsibility of that organization, outsourced, to deduct, not your own organization. Another thing is this. If you have a contract staff, what determines whether a pension will be deducted or not is the contract of engagement. What is the contract between Mr. A and Company B? So that is what will dictate that. However, if you read section 1, subsection 2, it says all employees must be covered. Now, as an employee, you can withdraw your money if you are below the age of 50. I mean, from your retirement savings account, you can withdraw your money. If you are retired on medical ground, especially where they see that the person is not mentally fit anymore, so they can allow you to withdraw up to 25% of the money in the retirement savings account. Again, if there is termination on the ground of disability, permanent disability, knowing that this person cannot fully regain any part lost, any part of the body lost, then that person is entitled to 25% of the already saved, credited retirement savings account. Now, if somebody loses his or her job, and this same person is out of job for 4 months, this person is entitled to 25% of his or her retirement savings account. But again, you must provide evidence in all these 3 cases to ensure that the person is not medically fit. You have that report, it will be cross-examined by the PENCOM. The same thing on the issue of permanent disability. All cases will be verified before you are granted that right to deduct. And you cannot deduct more than 25%. Now, one thing is this. If you are deducting this money and you have voluntary contributions, also savings. Now, if your voluntary contribution is not up to 5 years, tax will be deducted. If it is more than 5 years, tax will not be deducted. Now, Section 4 of the Pension Reform Act says if you get into the retirement phase, that is this time around you have retiree savings account. Initially it was retirement savings account, but now you have retiree savings account. In your retiree savings account, you can choose to deduct your money monthly or quarterly, as the case may be. There's usually advice that you have discussion with this. You can also purchase annuity from licensed insurance company. All these are to help you in terms of what you get at your old age. Only from licensed insurance company that you can purchase annuity. And this is to help you in order for you to have more benefit.
All right. It's like Mr. Yemi network is fluctuating. I believe any moment from now he should join us on the call again. However, for those who are just joining us, Mr. Yemi is trying to focus on pension today, the right of employee on the right of employees to pension. Usually, pension is a dual payment. Uh, Now it's now 80% of the employees' BHT. When we say BHT, it means basic housing and transport. Okay, it's back. Welcome, sir.
Sorry, apologies. Sorry. So again, you can get lump sum payments from your outstanding account according to Section 4. Now, if an employee dies under Section 5, it is required according to PRA 2014, PRA means Pension Reform Act 2014. The benefits from group life insurance, first, I think according to Section 9 or so, every employer must, please, this is not option, must have life insurance for all its employees. Now, perhaps an employee dies. The benefit from life insurance will be paid into the retirement savings account, and the total money will now go to the beneficiary of the employee, whether a wife or a child or children, as the case may be. However, if the person doesn't have a wife nor having a child, the documented next of kin will receive the benefits, meaning whoever the person has written down will receive the benefits. Now, if that person, if there is no documented next of kin or the documented next of kin dies, then the administrator under the courts would give the benefit to a family member that is well verified and ascertained to be close to the deceased. So it's a tedious process, I can tell you, very tedious process. Then there are cases where employees go missing. If an employee goes missing for 1 year, it is considered that that employee is dead after 1 year. So the benefit from life insurance or entitlement will be paid into the retirement savings account, and it will follow the normal process in Section 5, being paid to the stated beneficiaries. So this is very, very important. Now, what makes it a year is if someone goes missing, the valid document for that is police report. So you must obtain a police report. That is to corroborate the date of the person's missing. Now, know that your pension deduction is tax exclusive, meaning it cannot be taxed. You must remove it before you apply tax in a payroll computation. That is standard. It's deducted at source, and it is tax deductible, meaning it's tax exclusive. You don't tax pensions. Even voluntary contribution has tax relief. Now, for the employer, he gives a minimum of 10%, and again for the employee, minimum of 8%. Anything above 8% for you as an employee, it's going into your voluntary contribution. Now, let me state this clearly, especially if you're an HR manager. The employer's contribution is not part of employees' emolument. Let me repeat myself. Employer's contribution to pension is not part of employees' emolument. This is what I mean. If I'm working in an organization and my annual salary is 30 million naira, the employee's deduction will come from that 30 million naira, minimum of 8% of basic housing and transport. Let me, I should make it clear. Basic housing and transport. Now, the employer's contribution will be the computation that is made for the employers to come from the employer outside my 30 million naira. It is not to be deducted from my 30 million naira. So many HR people mistake that. So if they are paying you 30 million naira, they remove the employer and the employee from your gross. That is not correct. That is criminal. Okay? That is hugely criminal. Okay? Then for Section 9, again, if you're working in the public sector employee contributes 7.5%, employer contributes 7.5%. If you're in the military contributes 12.5%, while you contribute 2.5%. So total makes 15%. Section 9.3 states that employer must maintain life insurance in favor of employee for a minimum of 3 times employee's annual gross. That is what the life insurance will be. So please note this. Also make sure that you ask for the life insurance at times. Very important. Now, according to Section 9.5, you can make voluntary contribution. I think I've talked about that. Now, if your pension, and this is where there are issues, serious issues. If your pension is deducted, okay, it must be remitted within 7 days of the payment of salary. 7 days of the payment of salary, not 7 days after deduction. So if the deduction is done yesterday and salary is paid today, you start counting from today, okay? Or you start counting from tomorrow, as the case may be. Now, what happens if it is delayed or failed to be remitted? You have a right to write or petition your employer to PENCOM. It will be investigated. The employer is going to pay fine to the tune of 2% of the outstanding payment. That will go as fine on the employer. Again, you will be required, the employer will be required to pay you from the time they have not remitted with interest, and they're going to use the monetary policy rate to determine the annual interest that will climb your money. So it must be remitted within 7 days of payment of salary. This is where we have huge issues as HR practitioners. Many people don't even bother paying, and many employees don't know their rights. Please, again, in terms of computation, many organizations, they overcompute and under-remit. You need to find out from your account or HR, how much did you remit, how much. In fact, you get alert from your pension fund administrator. So all that will help you to track if the correct amount was remitted or not. Again, you can also send a complaint to PENCOM where they fail to make payment to you. So I would like to stop at this point. Like I said, 45 minutes. This can be a whole day's lecture, like 2-3 hours lecture, for us to talk about so many things. There are so many things we can dig quite deeper in these conversations. But because of our time, I would like to stop here and take questions. So,
okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your section. It's so insightful. So right now, I'm going to be reading out some questions from the chat room. Our first question here is from Joyce Oleribe, and she's asking, please, in a case where you have a pension account, but your employee refuses to pay his own part of the contributory pension, that's the 10%, what happens? Again, what happens when pension is deducted but not remitted? I think these two questions in one. Okay, so over to you.
Yeah, the question is a bit, thank you. The question is a bit not clear, but our attempt. In case where you have a pension account, but your employee refuses to pay his own parts, it's not possible that employee cannot pay his own parts now. You deduct at source. So it's not like the employee has a choice. The employee has no choice. So the issue of giving liberty to employee to withdraw or not. It doesn't even come into play at all. It doesn't come into play because you deduct at source. And once you deduct at source, it's very, very difficult for any employee to come and say, to ask you question, why did you deduct at source? And you asked, what happens when pension is deducted and not remitted? You can escalate to pensions commission. You can write to pension commission and said, my pension for so period was not remitted to you by organization XYZ. This is my PENCOM PIN. This is the day I joined the organization. This is the day I received the last alert for payment into my retirement savings account. So you want it to be investigated. But again, we're in this part of the world where people will not talk because they're afraid of losing their jobs. I have been in an organization before. I approached my MD. I said, you have to pay my pensions because you deducted it and everything. He said, there's no cash flow. I said, that's none of my problem. You have to remit it. So they got very angry and not, but I received my pension. Okay? So it's very important that you note that. I don't know if I'm able to answer your question very well. So kindly explain the qualification and process of bulk payment. Okay.
Can I add something, sir?
Please.
All right, thank you, sir. Happiness, thank you. I think the person has corrected something. The person was saying that she meant the employer, not the employee. However, the essence of what Mr. Yemi is saying is that when it comes to your pension, you need to do a follow-up. Number one, he says something, say, once your salary is being paid, 7 days after that, your pension must be paid. 2 reasons. A former staff called me today. He left the company in about a month, and he needed to assess some certain percent of that pension, 25% or so. So he called me to know how to go about it. See, it is when you need, I was sharing somewhere today, I say, it is when there's a problem, you now appreciate standard system. See, when you leave an organization, take for instance, you have worked for 5 organizations, and the second or the third one fail to remit your pension very well. You see, when you now want to actually assess it, the employer, the RSA may, or sorry, the PFA may just give you, may just request for your last employer to confirm if they truly pay your pension. Or probably you have even relocated from that side of place. So how you be able to follow up? So even before you leave organization, ensure that your pension is fully remitted. Of course, the PF normally send us text message every month or email. Do a proper follow-up. Your pension is part of your entitlement. It's part of, in fact, somebody that shared with me before, he said, it was showing me, he said he was having about 10 million. He said if he dies today, he's not afraid because what? His family member could be able to access all of these things. So when we say we go to work, it's far more than the net pay. Some of you say, okay, I'm just only have interest in the net. No. Sometimes when you leave that job, something will keep you going. Gross. So you need to pay attention to all of those things. Thank you once again, Mr. Yemi. Happiness, you can please go ahead with the second question.
Okay, the second question is from Victor Onyekonwe. The question is, as an HR, what can be the best way of remitting pensions smoothly? We use the EPCOS portal from NIBSS, which also gives us glitches. Also, is there a source of getting the email of all PFAs so one can send the schedules to them directly?
Okay, thank you very much. I will answer that, and I'll join in with the question of Morakinyo. Morakinyo actually asked a question. So I will answer Victor's question, then I'll answer Morakinyo's question. As HR, if you want to remit, usually it is not your responsibility to remit. It's for the finance and accounts to remit. Okay, this is the process. You are part of the deductions, you check the accuracy, the cutoff period and all that. Then when it gets to the issue of payment, you obtain the necessary approval. So it's for accounts to upload. Now, if you have glitch with Nigerian Interbank Settlement System, that's NIBSS, what you need to do is to physically go to bank to go and make your payment there. If you make your payments there, the custodian, the pension fund custodian will see it and they will alert the pension fund administrator. The pension fund administrator will inform you. That is physically going to the bank. Now, if you want to get the details of these pension fund administrators, go to the website of Pencom. You will see their name, even the name of the MD is there. I've been doing research on pension industry for 10 years, and I can tell you they have one of the best systems, and it's the most regulated. It's even more regulated than Nigerian banks. So, Victor, I don't know if I've answered the question, but Morakiyo said, kindly explain the qualification and process of bulk payment to retired employees of over 50 years. Now, the moment you retire, automatically the system is set in such a way that your fund move from retirement savings account into retiree savings account. Now, under the retiree savings account, you're entitled to a bulk payment. I think it's 25% of your pay. Now, it is there already. Your pension fund administrator can engage you if you need the money. Some will say, no, they don't need the money, they leave it there. And that is when they get monthly or quarterly programmed payment. I know someone that I retired 17 years ago, and he has not received his pension, retiree's pension fund for one day. The money is there growing, according to him. So, and many receive that bulk payment and they move on with it to help their lives. And the other thing that come, the program payments now come more like a blessing to them. So that is for Morakeo. I'm working towards our time assets in the agenda. So let me go. Please permit me to just run through the question. Do I have your permission, Happiness, to save our time, please? Moses Ikoro said, can I go ahead, Happiness?
She answered, she said
Okay,
yes,
Moses
sir.
Ikoro. Okay, Moses Ikoro said, is the transfer window now active, which enables, yes, it is active. It is. Am I here there going? Okay. So Amaya is helping you that you can send mail to various PFAs. Please explain more. It's beneficial. Yeah, annuity basically is a kind of insurance you buy. It's a contract between you and insurance. You buy it in order to get a kind of lump sum payment and a programmed payments. I really wish we can have time to compute to explain more of the annuity, but it's a kind of insurance package that you enter or a contract that you enter into that enables you to have a lump sum payment, and then you can have a programmed payment after that period. So I think if you agree with me, Mr. Ebenezer, we can have this session again repeated in a more robust way. The time I have is too short. So I would like to have a session. There is something we call, in all of these that I've explained to you, I've not explained the role of HR, which I'll just briefly mention to you after this. So Alberta said that she's seen situation where deductions were made and remittances were not done and nothing happened. It's because you don't know your rights. As an individual, if they deduct your money, in fact, the mistake we do in this part of the world, we only receive our money, we don't ask how the money was computed. Let me share with you. In an organization, my salary for 8 months was not regular. At times, they will pay me 390,000. At times, I will see 900,000. At times, I will see 1 million. And I call the HR manager one day. I said, what's the meaning of this disparity? Today is shorted by 10,000. Tomorrow is up by 50,000. So what's going on? I discover that they are using different payroll sheets every month, and the computations were not consistent. In fact, there was a particular point I paid a tax of 200,000, and I said that's crazy. So I had to get through review. Please ask for your pay slip. And if you know the amount that was deducted, you can do your calculations yourself now. Basic housing and transport. What is the 8%? So you can do your computation and do your check, which will help you. See, if you pay attention to details, you will know the right question to ask, which is very important. Okay.
All right, sir, there are two things I would like you to address, sir, from the chat box. Two things. Somebody said he has a personal experience to share with us. Yeah, then another person was asking that we should advise that if an employee leaves a company before payday, probably 10th of the month, should the pension of that person be remitted or not? But before you react to these two things, I want to say something, sir. Moses asked a question before that, is the transfer window open? Yes, and he said yes. Mr. Moses is an HR person. So also, we need to actually carry all our employees along. That per year, I think yes, once per year, employee has the right to do transfer. Am I correct, sir? Yes, once per year, employee has the right to do a transfer. There are many reasons you can do a transfer. Probably discover that your pension, your PFP, they are not really doing well in terms of in terms of return on investment. Of course, you can change, or probably they are not remitting as at when due. There are some PFP that sometimes it take them 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and it will be consistent because they have a lot of backlog to cover. So there is a many reason why it comes at no cost at all. Right. So, sir, you can please respond to the question on the platform and also allow the other person to share his own idea with us. Sir, don't worry. With the time people want to ask questions, just feel free to answer the questions since they have interest. We are not the one delaying them now. They want more. So you can please react to that question, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. And again, one of the things, I'm going to mention the responsibilities of HR briefly when I'm done, so that we have understanding of what we should do as HR practitioners. In terms of advising, I don't know who asked this question, Galaxy A30. If you work even for one day and they are computing your pay, they should compute your pension and remit it after you have resigned. I mean, a few organizations where I've resigned, they remitted my pensions. If they fail to remit your pension, please write them first that they are owing you your pension, they've not remitted to your pension fund administrator. When you have exhausted that option of communicating to them and they are not reacting, write PENCOM and copy them and copy your pension fund administrator. So please, it is your right. Whether you work for one day before leaving or any time, your pension is due to be paid. Now, I'll just ask, after transferring to another pension fund, after a year, you can go back to yes, you can go back, Alberta. Now, let me mention something here so that I can give room for the person that I wanted to talk. I mentioned that if somebody is out of job and there was no job for 4 months, you can withdraw 25% of your retirement savings account. However, if you get a job back, you will go back into that savings. You will plug into that savings. Meaning you have removed your 25%, yes, but if you get a job, let's say in the 5th or 6th month, then your pension, your RSA becomes active again. Now, even if in the case of health ground, you were terminated or whatever, the moment you regain your health and you are okay, you can also go back into your retirement savings account scheme. So those events that happen in between, it's not a permanent event. By the time you return back, you can continue. So somebody said he or she has an experience. I don't know who the person is. Please, you can unmute the person. So I think that is all from me. I don't know who has it.
Agbosasa, I think Agbosasa.
Okay, somebody asked a question that is Bola James. That what if it's not deducted and was paid full gross salary at the point of termination or resignation? It is criminal to do that. So both you, the payer, and the collectee may face the wrath of the law. It should be deducted at source and paid. They don't have to pay you gross. They should remit to your pension fund administrator. I know many employees will say, pay me my money and go. It is criminal to do that. Okay. So I don't know who has the floor. I make the promise to to us that by the grace of God next week I will be back. We can talk more about this fully and some other issues too. Okay. No individual can have more than one PFA. It's not possible. You have one. Your PIN is your PIN. Your PIN, you have just one PIN, and that PIN is your ID. In fact, let me shock you. Your PIN will be linked to your NIN very soon. So you have your database. It's one. Nobody can have two. And you know they take bio data. So it's if you have two, then I don't know. Maybe you have two spirits. Okay. So thank you very much. I think that will be all from my side. Sorry that I'm slow and slurry. Like I told you, I'm battling with flu. Thank you.
Right, sir, you still have the floor just to allow him to ask his own question before we now take a final remark from you. Then Mr. Samuel also have a message for every member of the team. All right. All right, Mr. Agbasasa, please share your experience with us under 1 minute, sir. Okay, Mr. Samuel, please kindly share your message with us while we still wait. Mr. Agbosasa, it seems is having issue with his network or so. We have unmuted, we've unmuted him, but I don't know. Mr. Samuel, can you please?
Okay, there is a question by FJ. If you lose your job and you don't get job within 4 months and you get the 25% in your RSA and you lose job again and you don't get job for 4 months, you will not get anything until you clock 50. So that is the case. Thank you.
Okay, good evening. My name is Farouk. I would like to share one or two personal experience. Can everybody hear me?
Yes. We can hear you. We
Hello?
can hear you.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yes, go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay. Number one is I think most of these employers, when they see they used to, when they see an accountant who doesn't, from experience, who is not bold enough to challenge them, that is what they do. That is what they do. From my personal experience, that's what I realized, because there was an employer I worked with. He had staff that have worked for like 2 years. They've not remitted pension. And the month I joined, I was able to present to him that, okay, you have no right. You just have to remit this. That is the law. And I did my computation. I submitted it to him. Eventually, we started remitting. Then secondly, for the person that said he or she is having difficulties remitting pension, something happened. I used Stanbic. And that's what I use for most of our staff. Something happened when I remitted pension for April. So when I normally send so we did transfer. I didn't even go to the bank. I just did transfer, not like normal transfer. I sent it to the pension account. That was what I did in February. So in March, I did the same thing. But surprisingly, I did the transfer on Thursday. Then on Monday morning, I received a mail from Stanbic that I should send the schedule. In that mail, they now sent the amount, the names of the individual, their pension PIN. I was so shocked. I've not even sent the schedule. Immediately they received the payment, they sent me a mail immediately. They sent me a mail that I should send the schedule so that they will they will go ahead with crediting the account. I was so surprised, and immediately I sent it. They confirmed, and within 48 hours, the RSA was credited. So I think the PFAs now, they are also doing well. They are also doing well. I was shocked. We just did the transfer, normal transfer. I didn't even go to the bank, and I downloaded the remittance receipt. So immediately they just sent a mail that I should send the schedule, that they receive so amount. They sent a mail to the registered email that they receive so amount, that I should send the schedule, and I sent the schedule. So they are making things easy. So you don't even need to use EPCOS. Even EPCOS, you don't even need to use EPCOS. Just do the normal transfer to the account number on your schedule, on the schedule we normally send. Just do the transfer and just put your narration, April pension, April 2021, so company pension. Then saying they will even reply you for Stanbic code. That's what I'm sure of. For Stanbic. So that's my own personal.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Mr. Farouk Agbesara. Thank you so much. Mr. Samuel, please, can you please give us your the announcement, sir? Mr. Samuel.
Hello, good evening. Hello.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Ebenezer. Thank you so much for the time. Good evening, Mr. Adeyemi Ajayi. We really appreciate your time on today's edition. Thank you so much. From all of us here, we are saying a very big thank you. And also, I would like to make this notice that the next edition we'll be having, the next section we'll be having is going to start by 8:30 as against the time we have now, so that we could be able to spend more time together. And also, it's going to be in series, since it's something we cannot actually cover in just one single day. So it's going to be in series, and I'm using this this particular medium to appeal to all of us present today to also join us on the next edition of the event. Thank you so much, everyone, for being part of the event today. And a very big thank you to our host as well. Thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Samuel. Can we get the final remarks from Mr. Adeyemi Ajayi, our guest speakers tonight? I must confess to us that there's need for us to really appreciate. I want everybody on the call tonight to please give a special thank you to Mr. Adeyemi. He has promised to do this thing for us free of charge in series. If you know what that means, in series, and he's a very busy man. So there's need for us to really appreciate him. Please, everyone on the call, I want you to please, before you go tonight, just say a word of thank you, whether you want to admit yourself or write a thank you on the chat box. Meanwhile, Mr. Adeyemi would like to take your final remarks, sir, please.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to say thank you for having me. I believe strongly in contributing to knowledge and also adding value to the HR community. So thank you all for coming, and I really wish you the very best. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. Please, you can unmute yourself and just appreciate him. Then thank every member of the team.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much,
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. We appreciate.
Thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. More grace, sir. More grace to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Happiness, you have the final remark for us to tell us, remind us again. Okay, the slide, we're going to send the slide across to us, possibly tomorrow, after getting from Mr. Adeyemi Ajayi. I'm going to send the slide to us. Some of us are asking for the slide. And also, the next session will be on the 16th, if I'm right, in the next 2 weeks. So Adeyemi will be coming back to do part B of this. So we likely have up to part 1 to D. Please bear with us and follow us through. I believe that he has been able to contribute to our knowledge and also our employee life. Please let's take all of these things and put this to work in our various places of work. Thank you so much for being on the call tonight. I want to give a special thanks to our volunteer team, Mr. Samuel, Mr. Samuel, Miss Happiness, Lydia, Mr. Michael, and Mr. Elijah, every one of us. Thank you so much for Mr. Wale, yes, our Zoom guy. Then everyone on the call, thank you so much for joining us. We really want to appreciate you. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Join us next 2 weeks. Yes. Thank you so much. Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye, please.